the Steel, Bentonville High School.
Christianity.
No. And Farmington High School.
Hinduism.
No, we were looking for Latter-day Saints or Mormonism or the Roman Catholic Church. Moving on to question 3, taken from the American History category. Farmington High School, your American History question. The presidential election of 1992 was a contest among 3 candidates: Bill Clinton, George H.W. Bush, and an independent candidate who received 19% of the popular vote. What was this candidate's name?
Ross Perot.
That is correct for 4 points. Nicely done, Farmington High School. Bentonville High School, your American History question. In the 1972 debate over the Equal Rights Amendment, women were divided. Who was the famous American author and conservative activist who opposed the amendment, largely because the law would subject women to the draft?
Phyllis Schalper. Phyllis Schalper.
I'll count that. Yes, correct. Phyllis Schalper for 4 points. Nice to come Bentonville High School. Gravett High School, your American History question. Ronald Reagan's political aspirations were encouraged by wealthy entrepreneurs in California after Reagan made a speech on behalf of what 1964 presidential candidate?
Nixon.
No.
Bush.
No. That's time. Bentonville High School for the Steel. Anton? No. And Farmington High School for the Steel.
Goldwater.
Goldwater is correct. Barry Goldwater for 1 point. Nicely done, Farmington High School. Moving on to game question 4, taken from the selected short stories or literature category. Farmington High School, your short story question comes from the short story A National Pastime by John Cheever. What does What is the common subject of conversation held between the dozen or so guys that frequented the coffee shop around 169th Street?
World War I.
No.
War stories from World War I.
No. Time. Farmington High School for the Steel.
Stories from World War II.
No. And we call time. We're looking for war stories from the First and Second World War. Moving on to game question 5, the American government category. Farmington High School, your American government question. Who was the first Republican presidential candidate nominated in 1856?
Fremont.
That is correct for 4 points. Nicely done, Farmington High School. Bentonville High School, your American government question. By 1775, there were 3 proprietary U.S. colonies, meaning colonies organized by a proprietor, or a person to whom the king had made a grant of land. Who did the King of England grant Maryland to in 1632 as a haven for Catholics?
Smith.
No. Call time. Farmington High School for the steal.
Lord, Baltimore.
That is correct for 1 point. Good job, Farmington High School. And Gravett High School, your American government question. Which English philosopher said government was necessary to avoid, quote, the war of every man against every man, unquote?
Locke.
No.
Paine,
No.
Franklin,
No.
Rousseau,
No. It's time for the steal, Farmington High School.
Thomas Hobbes.
Thomas Hobbes is correct for 1 point. Nicely done, Farmington High School. Moving on to game question 6, taken from the Shakespeare category. Farmington High School, your Shakespeare question comes from Shakespeare's The Taming of the Shrew. Petruchio had come to Padua for what reason?
To find a what?
That is correct for 4 points. Nicely done, Farmington. Bentonville High School, your Shakespeare question comes from King Henry VI, Part 1. What kills Talbot at the Battle of Bordeaux?
An arrow.
No.
Disease.
No. Time for the steal, Farmington High School.
Established.
No. And Gravett High School for the steal.
Poison.
No, we were looking for his own grief. Moving on to Gravett High School, your Shakespeare question comes from Shakespeare's Cymbeline. Rome and Britain go to war because Cymbeline refuses to do what?
Pay Italy the tax.
That is correct for 4 points. Nicely done, Gravett High School. Now moving on to game question 7, taken from the vocabulary question. Starting with Farmington High School, your vocabulary question. Name the verb meaning to roll in. That's time. Bentonville High School for the steal.
Wallow.
Wallow is correct for 1 point. Nicely done, Bentonville High School. And Bentonville High School, your vocabulary question. Name the noun meaning fear.
Trepidation.
That is correct for 4 points. Nicely done, Bentonville High School. And Gravett High School, your vocabulary question. Name the noun meaning outcome.
Verdict.
No. It's time and Farmington High School for the steal.
Upshot.
Upshot is correct for 1 point. Nicely done, Farmington High School. Before we read game questions 8 and 9, each team has selected a different first half and second half subject category question during a pre-game meeting with the captains. When it is their turn, each team can only provide one answer to the question. A correct answer will earn that team 4 points. Should the answer be wrong, then the other 2 teams can try to buzz in and steal for 2 points. So we have in question 8, the team choice category, our blue team, Farmington High School. You chose geography as your team choice category. Your geography question. What are the 3 dialect regions of the United States?
North, south, and west.
No. For the steal, Bentonville High School.
The South, Pacific Northwest, and Midwest.
No. And Gravett High School for the steal.
Pacific Northwest, New England, South.
All good guesses and very close. We were looking for the South, the North, and the Midland. Moving on to the yellow table, Bentonville High School, your team choice category, vocabulary. Name the noun, or name the verb meaning to slander.
Vilify.
That is correct for 4 points. Nicely done, Bentonville High School. And Gravett High School, you chose short stories literature. Your literature question comes from the short story Silent Snow, Secret Snow by Conrad Aiken. What medical problem does Paul have as a result of his infatuation with snow?
Schizophrenia.
No. For the Steel, Farmington High School.
Dyslexia.
No. And Bentonville High School for the Steel.
Hypothermia.
No. Good guesses. The condition is a lack of sleep. All right, now we are moving into game question 9, which happens to be the toss-up category, chosen by me, the moderator. So if all teams would please get your buzzers in hand. We are going to choose American government. The American government question for Team Toss-Up. What odd compromise disappeared from the Constitution with the adoption of the 13th Amendment? Gravett High School.
The 3/5 compromise.
That is correct for 4 points. Nicely done, Gravett High School. That concludes the first half of the ACE series in the third match. We currently have a score of, in third place, Gravett High School with 8 points. In second place, Bentonville High School with 20 points. And Farmington High School with 28 points. We'll take a quick intermission before we welcome our second half players. So thank you and good luck. 4 points for their answer during the short story because y'all were very specific, but we had only underlined war, and y'all did say war, so we are going to grant Gravette High School 4 points. So that now changes the score a little bit. Before we start the second half, we'll go over the score now. Gravette High School now has 12 points in third place. Bentonville currently has 20 points in second place, and Farmington High School currently in first place with 28 points. So we have changed players since our first half, so we would like our second half teams to please introduce your second half players as well as your coaches, starting with Farmington High School.
We are Farmington High School, and from the audience's left to right, we have Omar Cadan, Kirby Riffle, myself, Reed Petrie, Jonathan Bright, Daniel Park, and we are coached by the wonderful Clayton Williams.
All right, Farmington. And the yellow team, Bentonville High School. Please introduce your second half players and your coaches.
We are Bentonville High School. From the audience's left to right, we have Manish Chitarala, Sam Brown, myself, Deja Asif, Heidi Newman, and Pidgey Valerie. And we are coached by Mr. Payne and Mr. McElroy.
All right, Bentonville High School. And the red table, the host team from Gravette High School. Please introduce your second half players and coaches.
Hi, we are Gravette High School, and from the audience's left to right, we have Seth Blumen, Kristen Partain, myself, Mason Burrier, Joey Goodall, and Kate Jarvis, and we are coached by General Schaefer and Captain Hassing.
All right, Gravette High School. All right, now we're ready to start the second half of the game with 7 new subject area questions. Starting with game question 10, the sports category, taken from the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette newspaper from January 7th, 2019 through January 11th, 2019. Starting with Farmington High School, your sports question. Who is the Washburn University senior defensive back who was honored as the Cliff Harris Award winner at the Little Rock Touchdown Club banquet?
Valentine?
No?
Valentine.
That is correct. For 3 points. All right, moving on to Bentonville High School. Your sports question. Who was the quarterback when Nick Saban won the first of the 5 national titles, throwing 17 touchdown passes during Alabama's perfect season in 2009?
Applewood.
That is correct for 4 points. Nicely done, Bentonville High School. And Gravette High School. Your sports question. Who is the Razorback wide receivers coach who is pumped about landing Trey Knox, who is regarded as a top 40 receiver nationally and 274th best player in the 2019 class?
Anderson.
No?
Brown.
No?
Smith.
No?
Carter.
No? That's time for the steal.
Jones?
All right, Farmington High School for the steal.
Jones?
No? And Bentonville High School for the steal.
Gabe.
No? All good guesses. We were looking for the wide receiver coach, Justin Stepp, or Steve. Moving on to game question 11, the chemistry category, starting with Farmington High School. Your chemistry question. What is the term for the energy gap between 2 sets of d orbitals?
Strong nuclear force.
No?
Nuclear binding force.
No? Time? No teams for the steal? We'll call time. We're looking for crystal field splitting energy. Moving on to Bentonville High School, your chemistry question. What is the area of chemistry that uses the tools of statistics and probability to provide a link between the microscopic and macroscopic worlds?
Statistical chemistry.
No? That's time. Gravett High School for the steal.
Stoichiometry.
No. And Farmington High School for the steal.
Quantum chemistry.
No, all good guesses. We were looking specifically for statistical thermodynamics. And Gravett High School, your chemistry question. What is the name of alkanes whose carbon atoms are joined in a continuous chain?
Carbon rings.
No.
Carbon clouds.
No. Farmington High School for the steal.
Cycloalkanes.
No. And Bentonville High School for the steal.
Carbon backbone.
No. Again, all good guesses. Specifically, we were looking for straight chain hydrocarbons. Moving on to game question 12, taken from the art history category. Farmington High School, your art history question. Which architect designed the cupola or dome of the Cathedral of Florence?
Bellini.
No. That's time. Bentonville High School for the steal.
Medici.
No. And we'll call time. We're looking for Filippo Brunelleschi. Moving on to Bentonville High School, your art history question. Which artist painted the portrait titled The Doge Leonardo Loredano? That's time for the steal. Gravett High School.
Garçon.
No. And Farmington High School for the steal.
Uccello.
No. We're looking specifically for Giovanni Bellini. Moving on to Gravett High School, your art history question. Which artist created the Annunciation, a panel painting over 10 feet wide?
Bellini.
No.
Medici.
No. That's time. Bentonville High School for the steal.
John Van Eyck.
No. And we'll call for Farmington for the steal.
Giotto.
No. All good guesses. We're looking for Simone Martini. All right, now moving on to game question 3, which is a little different from the other categories. This is the mathematics category, which means each team will have 60 seconds to give 4 answers for their specific math question. All math questions today will be taken from the geometry mathematics category. So there are different colored envelopes on every table, as well as various calculators and notepads on all tables for teams. So you'll each have 60 seconds. I'll read the question and then your 60-second timer will begin. Starting with Farmington High School, your geometry question. If everybody would open up their blue envelopes and pass out the 5 pieces of paper to each member. All right, the blue Farmington High School mathematics question. Given a right triangle with an angle measuring 45 degrees, what is the length of its perimeter if the sum of the lengths of its 2 shortest sides is 10 inches? Give your answer in exact and simplest form.
Five times the square root of 2.
No?
10 times the square root of 2.
No.
Plus 10 square root of 2.
No. That's time for the steal. I have, can't see the, oh, Gravett High School. Gravett High School for the steal.
10 plus 5 times the square root of 2 inches.
That is correct for 1 point. Nicely done, Gravett High School. Bentonville High School, your mathematics question. If all teams would please pass the yellow envelopes and the pieces of paper inside the yellow envelopes to all teams, you'll have 60 seconds to answer this geometry question. Given a right triangle with an angle measuring 60 degrees, what is the length of its perimeter if the length of the longest side is 12 inches? Give your answer in exact and simplest form.
Plus 6 times the square root of 3 inches.
That is correct for 4 points. Nicely done, Bentonville High School. Moving on to Gravett High School. Now, each team will pass the red envelope and the 5 pieces of paper to each team member. Gravett High School, your geometry mathematics question. Given a right triangle with an angle measuring 30 degrees, what is the length of its perimeter if the length of the shortest side is 7 inches? Give your answer in exact and simplest form.
$21 plus 7 times the square root of 3 inches.
That is correct for 4 points. Nicely done, Gravett High School. Now moving on to game question 14, which happens to be the biology question. Farmington High School, your biology question. What term refers to the circulatory fluid in an open circulatory system?
Hemolymph.
That is correct for 4 points. Nicely done, Farmington High School. Bentonville High School, your biology question. What term describes the arrangement of leaves on a stem in plants? It's time for the steal, Farmington High School.
Phyllotaxy.
That is correct for 1 point. Nicely done, Farmington High School. And Gravett High School, your biology question. What is the term for the soil layer that surrounds the plant's roots?
Humus.
No,
Sediment.
no,
Mycorrhizal association.
no. Time, Farmington High School for the steal.
Rhizolayer.
No. And we'll call time. We're specifically looking for the rhizosphere as the layer. Good guess. All right, moving on to game question 15, taken from the physics category. Farmington High School, your physics question. What modifications are made to racetracks that increase centrifugal acceleration on curves?
A steeper slope.
No.
An increased angle of the track.
No. That's time for the steal. Bentonville High School.
Decreased angle?
No. And we'll call time. We're specifically looking for banks. They have banks. Nicely done for both teams. But Bentonville High School, your physics question. What type of resistive force is experienced by object moving through fluids, including gases?
Drive force.
That is correct for 4 points. Nicely done, Bentonville High School and Gravette High School. Your physics question. What structural addition is given to race cars that allows them to take corners faster than a normal car by deflecting the air upward, thus pushing the car down?
Track bar?
No.
Spoiler?
No. That's time for the still Farmington High School.
Bumper.
No. And for the still Bentonville High School. Answer? Called time. We were looking specifically for wings. Moving on to game question 16, taken from the world history category. Farmington High School, your world history question. About 6 years after Saladin's death in 1193, which pope initiated the Fourth Crusade?
Pope Urban III.
No.
Innocent V.
No. Call time for the Steel Gravette High School.
Pope Innocent III.
That is correct for 1 point. Nicely done, Gravette High School. Moving on to Bentonville High School, your world history question. The Great Schism of the Church was caused by having 2 popes at once. One, a Frenchman elected by the French cardinals, and the other known as who?
Charlemagne.
No.
Pope Alexis.
No.
Urban.
No. Call time. Gravette High School for the Steel.
Pope Clemens II.
No. And Farmington High School for the Steel.
Pope Clemens V.
No. All good guesses. We were specifically looking for Pope Urban VI. All right. And Gravette High School, your world history question. Who was the Pope from 590 to 604 who led the city of Rome and its surrounding territories, thus giving the papacy a source of political power?
Pope Boniface IV.
No. That's time for the Steel Farmington High School.
Pope Innocent III.
No. And Bentonville High School for the Steel.
Pope Innocent II.
No, all good guesses. We're looking specifically for Gregory I or Gregory the Great. All right, moving on to game question 17, which happens to be the team choice question. Each team has selected a different second half subject category question during a pregame meeting with the captains. When it is their turn, reminding all students that each team can only provide one guess, one answer to each question. A correct answer will earn your team 4 points. If the answer is incorrect, the other 2 teams we try to buzz in to steal for 2 points. So in their team choice meeting with the captains, Farmington High School, you chose biology as your team choice category. Your biology question. What is the region of the brain where the sensors for thermoregulation are concentrated?
Hypothalamus.
That is correct for 4 points. Nicely done, Farmington High School. Bentonville High School, you chose for your team choice question, mathematics. So at this time, would all teams pass the pieces of paper in the white envelope on your table? You will have 60 seconds to give me one guess for this mathematics question. If a circle with radius 3/2 has its center at 1,5, give its equation. After being reflected over the horizontal axis.
x minus 1 squared plus quantity y plus 5 squared is equal to 9/4.
That is correct for 4 points. Nicely done, Bentonville High Schools. And Gravett High School, you selected for your team choice category, physics. Your physics question. Regardless of individual starting points, what can be said of two vectors with the same magnitude and direction?
They're equivalent.
That is correct for 4 points. Nicely done, Gravett High School. And the last question of the game question 18, happens to be a toss-up category selected by me, the moderator. If all teams would please put the buzzers in your hands to buzz in, you can interrupt me at any point. The team toss-up category is art history. The art history question. Under the reign of Justinian, what large basilica was built in Constantinople in the years 532 to 537? Gravett High School.
St. Peter's Basilica.
No. Bentonville High School.
St. Foy.
No. And Farmington High School.
Hagia Sophia.
That is correct for 4 points. Nicely done, Farmington High School. That should conclude the game. We currently have in third place with 22 points, Gravett High School. Coming in at second place with 36 points, Bentonville High School. And currently in first place with 44 points, Farmington High School. Let's congratulate all three teams in this game. Remember, audience, the final standings are based on the cumulative score for the 3 games played during the regular season. Today's scores will be added to that total. At the conclusion of the regular game season, teams will be ranked according to their 3-game point total, and the 5 best teams will advance to the championship that will be held on March the 12th at Farmington High School. Our next match will be held immediately after this. Our next game will be held immediately after a short break, where we can transfer teams. And then the Series 3 games, or games 5 and 6, will be played on Wednesday, February the 13th at Farmington High School. That's all for now. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.